So hello everyone, in this video we'll be talking about layouts in HTML. Basically we'll be understanding how a normal web page looks like or how should we design that. So let's understand what is layout in HTML. So creating an HTML layout is the activity of positioning the various elements that make a web page. So basically we create elements and we position them according to their best layout. So basically every website has a layout. They might contain some header, they might contain some section, they might contain some footer. These are the different elements we can use. So we arrange different elements on the same layout or in a different layout to follow the HTML layout process. So you have seen most websites on the internet usually display their content in multiple rows and multiple columns, formatted like a magazine or a newspaper to provide the users a better reading and writing environment. You basically have seen this in many websites. So you might have seen in the YouTube as well. They show all the videos in a grid format, or they have like the sidebar is there, the search bar is there. So all these elements are there, but they are positioned correctly. This can be easily achieved by using the HTML tags such as table, div, header, footer, section, etc., and adding some CSS styles. So basically, this is the method to add HTML layout or to achieve the magazine look, or like a multiple columns or multiple rows look. Basically, we also use, or we can create a layout look in CSS as well by using CSS as well. So that's the very effective way to use. So we'll be just understanding what is a layout actually. We'll be practically doing that in the next video or in the CSS course. So basically in an HTML layout, some of the basic functionality or some of the basic sections are there. You can see the first one is the header section, in which we show the most important information at the top. And then there comes the navigation bar, in which we have some links to visit to multiple pages if our website contains multiple pages, such as about us, contact us, just like that. And then we have a sidebar, we call that index as well. So if we have different sections, or we want to jump towards different section in a single page, if our content is larger, then also we can use that. In some of the documentation websites, you might have seen that if we click on somewhere, then that link goes to somewhere. So in the section, it goes to somewhere. That's the case. And at the end, we have a footer in which we show our company information or other links we have or other websites we have. So footer is the footer always comes at the bottom, and we show some company related or like website related information there. We also have layout elements. So these are the layout elements. To create header, we'll be using the header tag. Inside that only we have to write everything we want, whether it be an image, whether it be an heading, so whatever it could be. So that should be always be inside this header tag, because that is the HTML5 semantic elements, you can say. We'll be also understanding semantic elements, and we'll be using that in the next video. So basically semantic elements are the standard tags, you can say, or standard elements which are used for creating layouts of a web page. So basically if you want to create the top section, that should be done with this header tag. If you want to create a bottom section or a footer section, then you will be creating with a footer tag or a footer element. If you want to create a navigation bar, you'll be using this nav tag. If you're creating sections of pages, like the different part of your data, then you'll be using section or article tag. And then we use a side tag, which basically use for showing the content which you want to show, like in the left or right direction. That we'll be using, for that we'll be using a side tag. So the description is already given to you. Like you can see that it tells you that it creates basically a section or a part of a web page. Then we have article to represent blog posts or other self-contained unit of information. Then we have content loosely related to the page content. It can be shown to the left or right direction. So I have already told you that these semantic elements will be used to create a layout. So you can see that it is being used here in this box. So you can see header tag is used at the top because we are creating a header. And then we have a nav tag, and then we have a section, or can it can be an article as well. And we have an aside tag which we want to show about the content or related to our website. We can show that information in an aside tag. This can be come here, this can also come here in the left direction. And then at the bottom we have a footer element. These all elements are a semantic elements which are used to create layout of a web page basically. So how can we create layouts as actually? So by using CSS frameworks, just like Bootstrap and other things, or we can use CSS float property, we can use flexbox, we can use grid. So all these things are used in CSS. So basically you will learn implementing all these in CSS, not in this, but we are just getting the idea that these things exist in this world actually. So these can be used for creating multi-column layouts basically. So that's why it is telling you that we can use these things. So CSS frameworks. So what are CSS frameworks? CSS frameworks are nothing but the code which are already written for you to use in your CSS or in your HTML page. You can just call the classes. Then you can use that class to create layouts or anything you want. So you can see top CSS frameworks are there. Bulma, Tailwind CSS, Materialize, Semantic UI, all these things are there. Bootstrap. So all these are the top CSS frameworks which we use for creating layout or for designing purposes. Then we have CSS float property, which actually uses float left or float right. We use it for actually creating multi-column layouts uh, because that is used in creating layout of a web page. So this is the thing, but it has a disadvantage that floating elements are tied to the document flow, which may harm the flexibility. So this is the disadvantage here. Then we have a flexbox layout which uses CSS flexbox properties just like display flex and other things. So that is the CSS part. We'll not be deeply going inside that because that's a CSS and a separate course. So we'll not be discussing. Just I want to tell you that these are the things by which we can create a HTML layout or a web page layout, you can say. Then we have CSS grid properties. By using that as well, we can use HTML layouts, or we can create HTML layouts with multiple columns. So that's it for this video. I hope you understood what is a layout in HTML page. Basically, it is a structure of a web page and how we can create that. Basically, we'll be using CSS and CSS frameworks for creating that. So practically we'll be doing that in next video or in CSS course deeply. So till then, bye bye, take care, and thank you for watching.